You do something in your hair, Annie?
No, it's just naturally like this.
Okay, cool.
I usually straighten it though. I like it straight because it's a lot easier to handle.
Yeah.
Girl, it's beautiful. I love it.
Looks cool. Yeah.
Hey!
Looks
See
cool.
what happened there.
Yo, Yandel, I talk.
Dylan wasn't here for him to talk about Dylan's hair. So
Yeah, no, I'm not
that means
talking
Annie, you're next.
because
Last week it was Lexi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where he goes with this hair thing. I don't know.
it's like he cut his hair and then he doesn't go. I'm not saying because he got pissed last week.
Yeah, he's not. He said he's not coming back anymore because you keep fucking with him with his hair.
Yeah, I told him I was like, no more hair jokes. But the funny thing is, it looks like Elias and Yandel are both doing the same hairstyle now.
See. You just don't let off on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brandon, you're
Brandon
safe.
shaved his head because he can't handle it.
No, I can't keep up with the hair game.
Like, nah, this is not my choice.
Fortunately not.
No, it's all good, man. All right. Well, let's get it started. Let's get some blessings going.
I'm going first.
Bam.
Sheesh.
So this month for me, this month is everything about twos. I'm trying to do two of my goals. I finished my first book. I'm on to my second book. I got my first pending with a buyer, so I'm looking for a second buyer. I actually got stood up today in Point Siena, so I drove an hour and a half to get stood up from a guy who I already showed homes to. So we'll see his trip. It ends this Saturday, so we'll be out again. And this is a guy, he works in sales. He's a manager for Toyota from New York, pre-approved, 425, great connection, and he turned down a realtor to work with me. So whatever happened today with him not making it, I stayed like 40 minutes. I'm 20 minutes late, and then I call him 35 minutes later, and he says I'm 30 minutes away.
Did you at least do some videos at the house?
No, it was not a good house at all. It was this home. No, a regular family couldn't move in. The smells and
Fixer upper.
It was, and he's pre-approved for more. He needs to spend more. He said the price looked right. It was for 309, and we saw homes for 380, 400. So I think he was just shopping by price. But that was all going to get handled there anyway. So
how long has it been on the market, that house?
Like 3 or 4 days. The listing agent is a realtor. She called me after, and she called me not knowing who I was or what she wanted to accomplish on that call. But she said I had a showing yesterday or today on the home. So just an AFA.
AFA.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a good investment property. I got these investors that are texting me like, oh, you got any good, flip properties or whatever, and that sounds like somebody could come in and go aggressive on a cash offer if it's a fixer upper.
The kitchen's nice. It's not a fixer upper. It's just not in any condition to move. It's like that in betweener, not a fixer upper, but a family's not choosing that or paying that price for that. You just couldn't rationalize in 30-minute showings on it. So.
Right. It might have been good that he didn't show up then.
Yeah. So my blessings are on that. Just trying to get twos of everything this month.
And then you're going to sponsor 2 agents too. Was that part of it too?
I didn't put sponsor. That's I can change it to that, but bring 2 agents to this month to the Fridays.
2 books, 2 agents, 2 deals.
Yeah.
I like that.
Those are my blessings.
Awesome, man.
Good stuff, man. What do you get on the board, brother?
I'll go now. Oh, someone else.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, perfect. I just literally an hour before this call just got a referral listing. So I got a listing appointment with them next week. I also have another listing that I should be listing. So I have 2 listings that'll probably hit the first week of August. That'll both go up. I have a closing on Thursday of this week. And I just finally got that buyer that I was complaining about to you, Gil. We're putting in offers. So we've got some offers in right now. So on the pipeline.
Nice.
Good stuff. What were we complaining about that property, that buyer again about?
He was just the guy that I couldn't seem to get his pain point. Like he was being really picky and just wasn't being aggressive enough on the market. And I finally got through to him. So now we're putting offers in. He knows the process. He knows the aggressiveness that it takes. He knows what it feels like to lose an offer. So we don't wait just to put in offers because we're not sure. So finally got him.
Got it.
Good stuff.
All right, I'll go. I have an appointment at 6 o'clock tonight for a guy from the pond, qualified buyer, looking at, I've been sending him houses. He's in like the $700,000 price range. There's one that popped up today. Well, it's been on the market 4 days. He wants to see it immediately. And he's like, I'm ready to make an offer if it's what I think it is. So we'll see tonight at 6 o'clock. And I got my dealership deal got all the funding's good. Next step, we're just waiting to close. So that'll be in the next few weeks. And then on a personal note, my husband and I are 3 months pregnant.
What? Yay!
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I imagine too.
Yeah. So
A couple weeks ago, I was like,
so it's been a long time coming.
Shooting
Can
for
you
That's
stars.
imagine that? Weird.
2 weeks ago, I was on the call, and I hate to say shit like this, but I'm like,
Oh, I've had a rough 3 months. I've been sick a lot. It's not been easy. So
yeah, 2 weeks ago,
2 weeks ago when I was like, I cannot be on camera, I was like puking.
Mhm. I was like, yep. Mhm.
Yeah, that was why. So, and we're having a boy, so we found that out last week.
Boom, just like that.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Gil has a great ability to do that. By the way, Gil, if you ever sense that from me, you need to tell me, all right? Call me.
I
You know
did
what?
see you holding a baby on Facebook and like a Facebook story or something this weekend, bro. You're getting a little too close.
Don't hold back with me, kid.
Listen, I've told, I'm like, hey man, fathers and moms, I'm like, oh man, I was like, you guys expecting? Like, no. Oh, okay. I just had this feeling like you were about to, and like a week later, it's like, you motherfucker. We had one of our top agents in the office. I was like, dude, man, I was like, he's like, yeah, I'm not having kids. I was like, no, you're gonna have twins. Homeboy had twins.
Yeah, don't let Gil get if Gil like rubs your arm and says you're gonna have kids, like it's bad, man. It happens. I've seen him do it. Yeah.
Great job, Rich. I'm excited to see that smile on your face.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've had a good week.
Good.
Cool.
And you said you had a showing this week as well from the pond, $700,000 buyer.
Tonight at 6. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What are you showing them?
A house in Geneva on 5 acres.
Good stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff. I'm actually looking for the exact same thing in that same price range.
Yeah, it just popped on the market. So
Good stuff.
What's the price range?
he's between 700 and $1 million. This house is at 695.
All right, so I've got an off-market listing right now that's 20 acres in Sorrento.
He needs to be close. He wants to be close to Waterford Lakes-ish area because that's where his grandkids live. So that was one stipulation.
Okay, good stuff. Good. And
If one of those properties, as you look around, you see one in that 700 to $1 million range that has a waterfront, forward that over to me. I'll even give
Okay,
you a
I got
find-
one of those too. I just sent them. I'll send it to you right now.
Yep. Cool. Who's next? Yandel? Man, come on, step up. Let's hear
Yeah. All right, I got two.
Oh.
The first one, last week I had some family come over from Vegas, and they're pretty known in Central Florida. And one had reposted me on his story, and an NBA player from the Magic DM'd me on Instagram. And he was just looking for a rental property. He's on a 1-year contract. I was trying to tell him, like transition him a little bit, and was telling him how, you know, he could turn it into an investment later on if he wanted to, but he wasn't too fond of it. But even then, you know, somebody like that just noticed me. So it just made me feel a little good. And I'm still trying to help him either way, because, you know, if he gets a contract extension, and you just never know what could come from it. And then
what you want to spend per month for rent?
He didn't tell me a budget, but he doesn't want to be over like 10-11K, because I've sent him one, and he wants it fully furnished. And there's not a lot of fully furnished properties that are nice, but I'm in contact with a agent who has a couple condos in downtown, and we're trying to set something up for that. So
All right. So typically on rentals like that, you're going to get paid a month worth of rent, right? So that month rent that you're looking at is usually what you're going to get paid. You do want to make sure that you negotiate that prior to showing. You can negotiate your commission prior to showing. You cannot negotiate your showing your commission after you show a property. That goes to rentals and that goes for residential properties. Prior to showing, you can call the listing agent and say, hey, listen, I'm considering this property for my buyer. Will you offer me a 3% commission, right? And that works really, really well with properties that have been on the market for a while, rental properties that are high dollar properties that are tough to rent anyway. So, if you see a commission in there and it's like not worthy, it's like, hey, listen, if I'm going to show this property, it might be a consideration. And he goes, I need to at least make X amount, and you can decide what you want to make on that property. Okay.
And I know you've already kind of spoken to him about an investment, but I was just at the Grove the other day. If you're looking at condos in downtown, and he can buy a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom for 400 and something at the Grove, it comes furnished. One, so you have a furnished unit there. You'll make 40. It'll be a $40,000 commission, let's say. Right. And when he leaves, they just basically it's mailbox money. So just say, hey, look, there's a lot of options here, and it's not something you have to like. If he's not fond of an investment, it's because he doesn't understand. Nobody if somebody says I'm not fond of an investment, it's like saying I'm not fond of money.
Right.
I'm just not fond of making money, and that doesn't make any sense. So it means that he's confused about what it's going to take and how much effort he would have to put in, right? Like if I don't know how to invest or what it is, and of course I'll say no. I'm like, that sounds like a lot of work.
Right.
Dude, I'm like, what? Just out of curiosity, if I were able to get you a condo, like a 3-bedroom condo for under $500,000 that was fully furnished, you basically live at a hotel, right? And then whenever you leave it, they'll manage it for you and you make mailbox money. Would that be something you'd be interested in? Because to me, that I have a tough time saying no to that, unless he was just like, nah, man, I got to be in downtown. I'm like, okay, cool. It is what it is.
Right.
So just keep it in mind, anytime you
get for sure.
commission,
Yeah.
Do it.
And then my other blessing was simply like just hearing you guys have conversations with Rachel. I mean, I'm just blessed to be in this position, I guess. Like a year ago, I would have never thought that I'd be here having these conversations with you guys, and hearing Gil say, hey, if you find a property like this with a waterfront, send it to me. Oh, okay, I got one. I'll send it to you right now. Like I just never expected to be in a position like that, so that I'm also grateful for that.
Yeah, I love that. Sometimes you got to appreciate those small things, man. You're having high level real estate conversations right now.
Right.
And then speaking of some off market stuff, like I said, I do have 20 acres in Sorrento, which is a unicorn. You don't see it, and it's going to be around. He wants $1 million for it.
Okay.
And then I've got a commercial. This one's good. Okay, so through the commercial property that Gil and I own, I get a lot of leads. I get a lot of people interested in buying, blah, blah, blah. So I end up meeting this commercial investor who owns some property in the Mills 50 area, which, as you guys know, is a super hot district. He owns a little car lot, right? It's basically a little mini building and a car lot. It's right next to Taco China. If you guys are familiar with that restaurant in Mills 50, it's like a few blocks from Celebration Title Group on Mills 50. And it's just a little car lot. But a lot of people are looking for car lots, one. Number two, the property has already been approved for a restaurant. So if somebody wants to build a restaurant, the city has already approved the site for a restaurant, and he wants to sell the property for 1.4 million. So, this is not on the market. So, this would be something you're talking individually to somebody. Don't put it out there like that. This would be like, hey, you got a guy who been looking for a place for a car lot, can't find it, they're really hard to find, by the way, car lots.
They're really hard to find because we've been looking. I'm meeting with Mo tomorrow, and he was interested. He's like, bring me all the information. So
okay, great.
I sent him pictures of it on Google Map and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, and like I said, you're in a district that's growing, super hot district. So you know what, at least he knows that down the road, if he ever gets out of the game, he's got a nice site there. And he can even develop it himself down the road. So just throwing that out there, but good stuff, Yandel, man. Yeah, man, we're having high level stuff here, man. Everybody's starting to put them pendings up on the board. So it's exciting. All right, who else got something? Oh, we got Davos hats on.
I'll go. So I have somebody that put in a loan application for one of the new construction townhomes that I did an open house at. So I'm excited about that, just waiting to hear. And then one of my sync leads will be here this week, tomorrow, and she's pre-approved, and we have some selections to view while she's here. So
Elections. Oh, I see what you did there.
yeah, because I'm looking at Gil's picture, and if I say showing, he's gonna be like, no. So
He'll turn his video back on if you say that shit.
yeah, right. But yeah, so that's what I got going right now. A lot of stuff in the pipeline. I'm just trying to get more pendings on the board. So yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Anybody else want to step in there with anything? Rob, I see you changed your relationship status on Facebook, buddy. You did, man.
Yep.
Rob's got a new girlfriend, so you know he got to get to work now. You know, man, those dinners aren't cheap, Rob.
This is true.
Good stuff.
Yep.
And I know you already got an appointment this week, so that's good stuff. All right. So if nobody wants to hop in there, so Gil and I were talking about this, and we wanted to run it past you guys. What do you guys think about this 2 p.m. slot on Tuesday? Would you guys like it better if we did this at like 9 a.m. on Tuesdays and did the meeting in the morning versus the afternoon? Or do you like this time slot? What do you guys think?
I'd like the time slot maybe a little bit later in the afternoon, maybe 3 o'clock instead of 2.
Okay.
But morning, no, I think because that would interfere with making calls.
Any other input on that?
Personally, I don't I like the 2 o'clock calls. It can interfere with, I guess appointments and stuff later in the afternoon, but then if it's in the morning, yeah, that interferes with prospecting. But I like the 2 p.m. me personally. I'm down for whatever, I'll make it happen.
Okay.
I prefer after, if it's in the morning, at least not at 9, because that's a start for me for calling or I'm already in it.
If you did it in the morning, that'd be like super early.
I mean, I wouldn't start calls until 10:30. I mean, this goes sometimes over an hour. So now we're at 10:30 on a Tuesday.
Okay. We were just playing around with that. So then sounds like a good time for that. Another reminder. So this Thursday, we're at the Welburn, right? So we're going to be doing a little Davos social at the Welburn from 5 to 7 p.m. So looking forward to that. So we're going to make sure you guys put that on your calendar.
If anybody wants to follow up drinks on Thursday at 7 p.m., Andrew Brooks and some of the Alliance members are doing our run training for the IOA Corporate 5K, 7 p.m., Lake Eola. So
drink and run?
Yeah, drink and run. Sure. Like a beer mile.
You're
drink and run and end up in the water and shit. Like
Brandon's a triathlete, so he's built for this. He could be he could take a few poppers and go out there and run.
I actually, by the way, speaking of that, I learned this weekend during a run that they have a actual sport that is the Beer Olympics, like professionally, like you get paid to do so. Like you can win a competition to do beer miles.
I'm up.
So just FYI, I think the record's like 4-minute mile though.
Sign me out.
How does that work?
You chug a beer every lap around the track, so 4 beers during the mile.
Mm.
And you lost me in 4 minutes.
How about 4 beers? Did I lose you at 4 beers?
But 4 beers, no problem.
That's all day. That's all day. Gil, you want to chime in on anything, or you want me to kind of get into my portion?
The one thing we have to decide is if we're going to be sending a group to Sync University. We've got Sync dates in September. if that's going to be something, it'll be 14th, 15th, 16th. We have to see if we have, I don't know if we've got enough people in this group who haven't gone, or what do you want to do on that? So who has not gone to Sync University?
1, 2, 3,
There's
I
enough.
haven't gone yet.
5.
Okay, Robert missed it the first time.
Yeah.
I don't think Victoria's.
And Victoria hasn't gone. That's 6.
No.
So we got a pretty good sized group that we may want to consider doing a trip and bring them on there. A couple of people who've been there before who are producing. We'll probably bring, if Alexis can come out there, since she can come help out the group. It'd be a good idea to bring them out there in September.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay.
Just the dates, make sure we're not. What do we have in September? Is it the IOA? Is the 5K in September?
Yeah, it was at the end of the
Yeah,
month.
that's the very end.
Okay. Let me put something in there.
I'm such a planner, so I'm looking a couple months ahead.
Gil's a planner now, guys. He's after 75 hard to change him.
Where's that D personality?
It's really bothering me that I've actually started looking in the future about what would have to get done. It's really disturbing me.
Yeah, it's he's using his calendar and shit, guys. I don't even know who he is anymore. He called me the other day and he says, I was like, well, first of all, congratulations on completing 75 hard. Like,
you don't have to keep telling the story.
I gotta tell him. Just let me tell the story. All right. And then I was like, well, what'd you take away from it? Blah blah blah. He's like, I don't even want to tell you this, Bobby. I know what you're gonna say, but he goes, I think I'm better with a plan. And I was like, you're better with a plan? I was like, who are you? I was like, who are you? But it was just fun.
I'm off the call. Bye.
Oh yeah, that's it. So you're gonna see, don't get me wrong, I do not want to change Gil Ramos, because let me tell you something. Nobody is better on the fly than Gil Ramos. Okay. Nobody. I've never met anybody who can just have shit come out of his mouth, sound incredible, or come up with ideas on the fly. But a little bit of planning can't hurt anybody, right? And by the way, just so you know, this is why you have business partners that are different from you, because I've actually been more on I've started to get closer to Gil's side of things, because I see the value of not being an overthinker, because there is paralysis by analysis, right? So if you're an overthinker, that's an extreme as well, right? So you don't want to be somebody who's like, man, if I don't have all these perfect plans, if I don't have these perfect presentations, I'm not going to go on the appointment, or if I don't have all these things, right? So a lot of what Gil's taught me over the past, 6 years we've been together has just been like, hey man, you're overthinking this shit, go after it, right? Or just start. Or, hey, you're trying to come up. I'm doing this. I tell people the same thing now. Mackenzie was telling me this whole big plan about something the other day. I was like, I think you're just overcomplicating this. I'm like, just schedule the dang thing and do it. You know what I mean? And she was like, oh, okay. So I get that side of it, but it's cool. So Gil's definitely got a little something from that 75 hard. I'm now doing some vegan. I'm doing a 30-day vegan challenge for myself. I just decided after watching this documentary called Game Changers, that.
Oh no!
Okay,
I told the same thing.
You're-
the same thing.
God.
You're on vacation right now in Captiva Island. How?
I'm back. I came back.
Oh,
so-
you back? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been back since Sunday night.
Brandon, I'm really curious because he won't listen to me.
Oh,
Why are you so opposed to it?
God.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Oh, get me started. This will turn into way too long of a conversation.
No, I need a 3-minute. Tell me, because I am so strong on it that he rejects me because he's like, So I just want to hear your expert.
Just like as a
advice.
natural human being, we're omnivores. You should be eating a little bit of both. Game Changers in itself is a propaganda, just one-sided Netflix series that dispels, it pushes their narrative without actually telling the truth about the other side. Yes, there's a lot in regards to processing foods and the unhealthiness of that kind of stuff. But unless you're supplementing, seriously supplementing, and when I say seriously, it's like more than you think, then you're never going to get the proper nutrients that you need out of a vegan diet. You're just not going to. And you'll feel better in certain ways, but I truly feel that and mind you, your body might do well on it. I know that my body does not, but
You tried it?
Kind of to an extent, not really vegan. No. I've done better at like some sort of animal products. Like I've tested like dairy. Like I don't do great with dairy. Like my body doesn't respond as well with dairy. That might be just getting a bit older and stuff. But I just the whole veganism thing, man. I just no. You know, want to be healthy. I can teach you to be a little bit healthier.
Yeah,
I can get you better results. I promise you, if you let me design a diet plan for you for 30 days, I'll give you better results than your vegan diet gives you in 30 days. I'll guarantee it.
Guarantee it? Okay. I don't know what results we're talking about, but you know what I mean? But whatever it is, the results. Hey, look, here's the deal. Everything you just said, the milk industry and the meat industry has done the same thing with the propaganda, right? So saying like the only way you can get big and huge is
100%.
amounts of meat, you know, and then there's people who subscribe to the other side, like Gil's like, I want 8 eggs. You know, he's still watching Rocky from the 80s. You know what I mean? Like he's just, you know, he's drinking eggs out of a thing and doing jazzercise, you know?
So Gil, you and I need to try the other side. Let's do the carnivore diet.
Well, first off, I have gone, I've been on a vegetarian diet for 30 plus days and got really sick from it. Felt ill, gained weight, and also just less powerful. Became very lethargic. I do respond better with meat. I mean, we should be by now. I'm 48 years old. I should be aware of how my body responds. But I disclaim this guy who says he's the strongest man in the world and he's a vegetarian when he's not even in the top 10 strongest men in any of the past 10 years. But yet somehow he went from a claim I'm the strongest vegan to I'm the strongest man in the world, and he created a whole documentary on it. It drives me crazy. Like so, and then Bobby's using that Game Changers title because it sounds cool as his way he's going to change his life. I'm like, oh man, please come on, dude. All right, but I don't want to talk about that anymore because.
Oh, Bobby, I support you.
I have a quick
question.
question.
Rachel, you're so cute. Like
I'm kidding. I'm not really a vegan. I eat pizza for breakfast.
Hey, Gil.
Savage.
Gil, who would I talk to just to get, I guess, kind of like an info session on the Texas trip, like the Airbnb and stuff?
Celeste is the only person you should talk to regarding the Airbnb. Did you book a room? Did you book a spot on the Airbnb already?
I did, yeah. But I'm just trying to figure out, you know, do I rent the car? Do I just do Uber? Like, I don't know. How would I get groceries? You know, the C personality here. So I'm just.
All right. So there will be a house kind of like leader, which right now is Michael Collier for that particular Airbnb. So we're probably going to have just like one 15-passenger van that'll go back and forth. You know, as far as getting from the airport, I would kind of like, as you get closer, get in a Facebook group with everybody so you guys can share an Uber together. But the details only thing that's been actually set in stone is actually we have the location for you already. Nothing else has been decided. But Michael Collier is the house leader for that trip.
Okay.
Good stuff. And I just want to kind of show you guys this. Always good to look at the numbers, you know, the call numbers. And, you know, I could tell that Rachel is pregnant because she's like, oh, we got to start making some calls right now. Because
I've had some pretty boring open houses lately, but that has produced me calling a lot, which is good.
Yeah, and you got a kid on the way. So, I mean, we got to feed them kids now. You got that excuse now. So what I like about this, obviously, you know, Annie coming in strong, second place, Yandel 133, Dylan 125, Devin 85, Elias 71, so on and so forth. The good thing is that pretty much everybody put numbers on the board, which I haven't seen in a while. Usually there's kind of like a, you know, top 5 or 6 and then kind of drops off. So everybody's getting back in the game. Obviously, you know, Justin Over is still kind of MIA. So I don't know what's up with him, but you guys are making calls, which is awesome. And obviously, you know, getting the people who make the calls get the results. So good stuff there. So today I kind of wanted to touch on, I don't know if Gil, you want to touch on anything else? You want to just chime in on my stuff?
No, man, it's your show. Go for it.
I knew he was going to say that. So I want to talk a little bit about listings. Hold on one second. And partly because, you know, Annie, you brought this up, you know, kind of like what's the script for calling, things like this. But kind of getting into the understanding of like right now, you guys have the opportunity to really crush it with listings. Super excited to hear Brandon is out there and he's got a couple of them coming up here. But I think it's important that you guys kind of understand. Well, number one, just the basics, right? What's the script? What might you hear on a seller call? You know, and kind of be prepared with answers when it comes to that, but also to understand why if you don't understand why it's so important to be looking at selling your home right now, then it's hard to transfer that energy over to the potential client, right? If you're just like, oh man, it's a good time to sell, market's hot, you know, but there's a lot of reasons that you might or might not know, or that you might not be able to articulate to let them to walk them into the right answer. So Annie, you had asked today, you know, what's the, you know, kind of the opening line or the seller script, you know, versus the, you know, the buyer script. And, you know, I went ahead and kind of reposted it, added a couple of things. Dylan was good enough to put that in the chat, but very similar to the buyer script. You know, hi, my name is, you know, Annie, I saw you requested a home valuation report from our website. Are you considering selling or just curious about your home value? So real simple opener, as you guys know. And then I kind of wanted to go over what you might, you know, kind of what you might hear, right? So there's a lot of different answers that you might get. But here are some of them. You know, I'm just curious about what my home is worth. So you're asking them, you know, what prompted them to ask for home valuation. They might just be curious, right? Or at least that's what they'll say. They might be like, oh, I'm not wanting to sell now. That might be a response that they give you. Or I didn't ask for a home evaluation. So we're going to kind of go over a few of these things just to kind of get familiar, kind of get a rep in. So one thing that I think is absolutely brilliant, I mentioned it to you multiple times when it comes to objection handling, which we no longer do. We don't do objection handling. It isn't about, you know, hey, do I have a comeback for this person? Because now you're getting into this defensive battle with them trying to prove your point, and it just never works, right? It never works in an argument with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. It doesn't work. You know, just being right isn't enough, right? So the one thing that we've been teaching you guys how to do is always first align. In other words, almost agree with what they say, right? Step into the alignment with them no matter what they say. And in this particular case, you know, you want to follow it up with a question. So first, basically let them know, hey, I can certainly see your point in this, right? And not come back with like, I've heard that, but actually, and then just come back over the top. First align with them and then ask them a follow-up question. So I'm just eliminating your little faces here. So, you know, let's talk about some of the things they might say back. So I'm just curious about what my home is worth. So one way to align and ask would be like, that's awesome. My mentor always says, curious people make more money. With that said, I'm curious, for the right price, would you consider selling your home, right? We know that skill's like number one line when it comes to that, right? I'm curious, for the right price, would you consider selling your home? Because almost no person will say no to that question. They'll say, sure, absolutely, right? And we can go down the path of asking them, you know, so what would that price be? Or I'm not wanting to sell now. Well, I can certainly understand why you wouldn't want to move out of your beautiful home. But while I have you, out of curiosity, what would have to happen for you to want to sell now? Right? So notice that I'm asking them questions that are going to start opening up their mind. So they're just, oh, I'm not wanting to sell now. Well, the reason that they might not want to sell is because they don't know the process. They, you know, when somebody thinks about selling their home, it's a process, right? They got to think about moving. They got to think about the next place. They got to do all these different things. And, you know, but they never really think, you know, they just think it's complicated, but they don't actually talk it out. So by asking an open-ended question, like what would have to happen for you to want to sell? Or in Gil's case, he would say, in a perfect world, you know, when would you sell? You know, what would it look like? And let them start envisioning, you know, what that is. Because right now the opportunity, I think there's such a huge opportunity with sellers right now. I mean, it's just like, I know we keep harping on it every week, and we did, you know, a little bit about the listing presentations, but you know, the beautiful thing about these listings is it's like, dude, a lot of people know that the market is hot right now. So it's not that hard of a sell to get people to want to sell. But number two is once you have a listing, you're going to get 6 or 8 buyers from it, right? So they continue to feed you, right? And with a listing, what I love about it is obviously once you sign that listing agreement, and especially in this market, your money is kind of guaranteed almost, right? You know you're going to sell that property if people follow your plan. So there's just so much opportunity with it. The next one is, I didn't ask for a home evaluation. And you could always be like, oh, my apologies. For some reason, I received your information. Real quick, while I have you, do you own your own home? And so obviously you can take that different ways, right? If they do own their home, you could go into, out of curiosity, for the right price, would you want to sell your home? Or if they say, no, I don't own my own home, I'm like, oh, I can certainly understand. And out of curiosity, have you ever thought about buying a home? And then you turn them into a buyer, right? So you have a couple different options there. So I want to get it. That's more on the mechanical part about aligning and asking, but I'm going to ask you guys, why sell? Why would somebody want to sell right now? So let me get a little feedback from you guys. Why would somebody want to sell right now?
Because they have a lot more freedom from how things have changed at work, their family dynamic going through a pandemic. So a lot of things have changed. I've come across a lot of people who, the home square footage, bedrooms, those are right, but like the house and dynamic of their family has changed. So it's not always, they'll take another 3-bedroom, they'll take another 2,000 square feet, but they just want a different style house in a different neighborhood. So lifestyle, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you a question. Why wouldn't somebody want to sell right now?
The fear that they are not going to be able to get their offer accepted when they buy their next house.
Okay. So their fear that they're going to be competing against somebody and not get the house. What else?
How long it'll take to sell and then, buy a home or get beat out on other buyers, things that they've heard. So that even if they're willing to or trying to, they just know it's not going to happen in 2 weeks, where that's kind of an instant gratification. That's what people would like to happen. So they just think that is just going to take too long. I'll just wait for a softer, easier market, regardless of prices.
Yep. So if I did own a home right now, and I was even considering selling, why would it be a good time now?
Because you can make a lot of money off your home.
I like that. Exactly right. So look, here's the deal, right? Markets go in cycles. It's always been this way. It is going to continue to be this way, right? And I think what we run into is the fact that we're trying to be, sometimes you guys are trying to predict the future, and none of us can, right? None of us can predict the future. So we got to start there with the fact that, hey, I'm not here to tell them that I know something more about the future than they do, but I can talk to them about what a market cycle is like, right? What it looks like, right? And where we might be in the cycle according to a lot of smart people, right? So this is what cycles look like, right? And this is what they do all the time, right? Over history. They just go up and they go down, up and down. And there's all these shifts that happen. And so this is going to continue to happen, right? And I'm not telling them that I am, I can predict the future, but I could, based on the research and the things that happen, and a lot of smart people, anywhere from Tony Robbins to the guys that, I'm investor partners with, where do you think they think we are in this cycle?
You're asking us?
Yeah.
Between markup and disruption?
I would say markup.
And the markup part of the cycle?
Yeah, I mean, still seeing an uptick. We're still seeing the same kind of trends. You might hear some things, but there's always lag from when you first hear it or first report. So still consumer confidence and consumer behaviors are still the same as going up, rising prices, taking advantage.
Right. And look, I just circled this general area because you get a couple different opinions, but for the most part, even if you think you're in the markup stage, most people think we're getting towards the top of it, right? We're even if you think we're here in the markup stage, how much more, right? How much more? And you and I don't know the answer to that. but it really comes down to when you cash out. You know, when do you cash out? You know, when you're in Las Vegas and you got a chip stack like this, you know, hey, it could get bigger, right? It could get bigger. But the question is it time to get off the table and take your win? Or do you roll it one more time? You know, do you take another hand? You know, do you go all in one more time to see, right? And really, the answer depends. I'm not necessarily telling them that, hey, look, hey, you definitely have to sell right now. The question is, when somebody says, hey, is it time for me to sell right now? You say, well, it depends. It depends on your goals, right? So let's talk about what some of those goals might be, right? So it depends on your goals, and you have to have great questions to ask them to start exploring what their goals are. So if somebody says, oh, I don't want to sell right now because I can't, you know, I don't know, I might be competing against a bunch of other buyers, or, you know, I might not be able to find what I want for the price or whatever, then you have to have some questions. You're going to, I can certainly understand that. Out of curiosity, if you don't sell now, when do you think you would sell, and for what reason? You know, we can't just let that slide, you know, because we got to understand when would they want to do this then, and what, you know, and what would it take, right? What would it take? I mean, the market right now is pretty hot. Like, you know, where do things have to be, you know, and what would be the reason for them to sell? And so you start understanding these questions, right? So another question asks, what do you plan to do after you sell your home? Upsize, downsize, invest. So I'm asking them their goals, you know, hey, depends on your goals. What do you plan to do after you sell your home? Are you looking to upsize? Are you looking to downsize? Are you looking to invest? Okay. And very important too is, where do you plan to move after you sell, right? Because, you know, if somebody's worried about the fact that, you know, oh, well, you know, prices are really high right now and I might not be able to find what I want. Well, that depends. You know, if they go to an area that is still super affordable, they're going to be able to get a great deal. Like, there's great deals in the market right now. There really are. Okay. So let's talk about how these conversations might play out. So if you ask them, if you don't sell now, when do you think you would sell, and for what reason? Okay. Seller might say something like, probably not for a while. Okay. And you might come in and say, when you say a while, what does that mean to you? So when somebody says not for a while, whenever somebody gives you a general answer, I want you to get into the habit of being like, oh, I can't work off of general answers, man. I got to dig a little bit deeper in order to really come up with a plan for them, right? So when you say a while, what does that mean to you? 2 years, probably. Out of curiosity, what do you think prices will be in 2 years, right? So I want to lead them down this road where, you know, if I can't predict the future and they can't predict the future, then what's going to be happening in 2 years? Like, I don't know either, but I want them to start thinking about that. I'm like, okay, what do you think prices will be in 2 years? If they think the prices are too high or whatever the case may be, and sellers like, don't know. And so let's go ahead and align. Honestly, I don't think any of us do. The market moves up and down in cycles. That said, the market has been going up for a long time. Most experts think we're at the top of one of the cycles. Out of curiosity, let's say it's 2 years from now. What price would make you sell your home? Right. So it's kind of another version of Gil's question. I need to get to the point where it's like, dude, how much better do conditions need to get for you to get excited about selling your home? Right. So I'm trying to get to that number. I'm trying to get to that price, right? Because most people don't actually know what their home is worth, and that's what you're there for. And by the way, remember that if you get them to the point where they give you the number and everything like that, the whole point is for you to get in that house, to see them in person, right? So tell you what, you know, to make the best decision, in my experience, you have to have all the information in front of you. So whether you decide to sell or not, I think it'd be important for you to know the value, true value of your home. And the only way I can do that is to actually take a tour of it, do some research, and put together a comprehensive report to let you know where you stand. So at least you can make an educated decision, you know. So remember, the whole point is always to get in front of their face, right? So out of curiosity, Alexis, did you ever meet back up with that gentleman?
On Friday. He's actually in Colorado right now. So we meet back up on Friday. I sent him the listing agreement and all the paperwork he needed. And yeah, we meet up on Friday.
Okay, great. So look, we wouldn't be here unless Alexis and I made an appointment, right? We just wouldn't be here because he needed to see us. He needed to see, to get to know us. We built a relationship. We needed to have a drink together. We did all this stuff. We're taking care of one of the biggest investments that they've ever had in the house. So remember, every conversation that once you get them to the point where you're like, okay, they're open to a new idea, we're going right to the appointment. We're going right to, hey, I need to get to this house.
And he took Bobby's advice and he's getting the outside painted white, the white brick. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
I'm an asshole. I literally walked up to this guy's house and told him how to paint. Like literally within 60 seconds of knowing this man, I told him how to paint his house. Like I was like, he's like, oh, I'm gonna get some painting done. I'm like, all right, you need to get rid of this green. That's the first thing to do. And then I'm like, you need to paint this whitewash that brick. I'm like, this is gonna have a nice little farmhouse feel. I'm telling you, that's what everybody wants right now. I don't care, because like my whole thing is like I'm doing the right thing for them. I know what looks good. I know they've got, like, if something looks funky and he was willing to paint anyway, just go right in, man. I'm just trying to be direct and honest, and they appreciate that. So that's funny. All right. So next question. Or next, after you ask this question. So what do you plan to do after you sell your home? Upsize, downsize, invest, right? And no matter what they tell me, I know which way to take it, right? Because a lot of their fear is that they're not going to have enough money to buy their next home or whatever. So let's say the seller says, we'd like to buy a bigger home. That sounds exciting. What's keeping you from making the move now? I think prices will drop soon and I'll be able to get a cheaper house. Have you guys gotten that one? That they're kind of waiting for this market. I know Yandel. I remember that one guy. I mean, this is a typical answer, right? You got some really smart people who can tell the future, and they know exactly what the market's going to do, right? So they're trying to tell you, oh, that sounds exciting. What's keeping you from making a move now? Seller says, I think prices will drop soon, and I'll be able to get a cheaper house. And I'll be like, that's certainly. Once again, I'm going to align first, okay? So I'm not going to tell him he's wrong or she's wrong. My first question, well, that's certainly a possibility. Matter of fact, many experts believe that we're at the top of the market cycle. Out of curiosity, if we think prices will drop, why not cash out on your home now while prices are high? Because if the market's going to drop, it's going to drop for you too. Like, why wouldn't you cash out now, right? And then we can have an answer for him or a strategy for him to get them what they want. And then let's say he says, why not cash out now? And they say, I think houses are too expensive. And then you say, well, prices have definitely gone up. That's for sure. That said, the price also has gone up on your home, which means you'll have a lot more money to put down on your next home. When you combine that with the fact that interest rates are the lowest they've been in history, it could very well be that you have the most buying power that you've ever had. And by the way, that's true. I don't know if Gil's on right now, but he just did a calculation with a mortgage calculator. I don't know if you're there, Gil. But basically, if you were planning on buying a home at 350, Gil just did this calculation today. If you're planning to buy it and the home's 350,000, and you're waiting for the market to drop, right? And let's say the market drops to 290,000, so $60,000 drop. But if interest rates go up to 5%, you're paying a higher payment at 290 than you are at 350. That shit is crazy, right? So when you think about it, if you've got a ton of equity in your home, and now you could take a bigger chunk of money to put down on your next home, and then you combine that with the lowest interest rates of all time, you're missing out on a huge opportunity to buy right now. You really are. So you can do that math, by the way, guys, whether you have Home First do it or you use a mortgage calculator and say, because we could get deep. And if you guys start feeling comfortable with that mortgage calculator, right? And they say, well, I'm waiting for prices to drop. Out of curiosity, how much do you think they'll drop? Well, I don't know. They might drop 20%. Okay, cool. Let's do that. Let's do it real time. So let's take 20% off the price. Out of curiosity, do you think interest rates are going to stay historically low forever, or they might go up in the next couple of years? Okay, cool. What do you think they'll go up? What do you think they'll go up to? Oh, I don't know. Well, let's say they go up 1%. Let's say, and then you can actually do a calculation. And most of the time, and even if it's not a higher payment, maybe it's a $10 difference. So you're going to wait 2 years to cash out on this amount of money on your equity to save $10 a month on your payment. With this example, and like I said, I can't tell the future. So rates might be higher than this. I don't know what the future is going to do, but the cost of waiting is real, right? And the one thing we know is that the market right now is super strong for sellers. And the question is, when you have a big chip stack at the table, do you cash out or you keep playing your hands to see if the house takes your money? Right. So that's the decision that they have to make, and you have to be able to educate them on what to do.
Hey, Bobby.
Okay. Yeah.
I just did those numbers just to like make it even more real. $350,000 home, if you're putting down 10%, at your interest rate is 2.8, your monthly is 1861, right? If the home prices go down to 290, that same number you said, you're still putting down 2%, but interest rates go up 2%, which is very easy. I mean, people's income and things, to a 4.8 interest rate, you're paying 1853. So that's a difference of like just under $10, but from 350 to 290, and a 2% change in interest rates. So you're basically just talking about the same month.
That's right. That's right. And if you wanted to, because of the amount of cash that you made on the current home that you have, because the prices are, at a high level right now, maybe you put more than 10% down and get your payment even below that. So, you got to look at the entire thing. So if you're talking to a seller, maybe you need to get those numbers, right? Say, hey, if you build that trust, or you could say, hey, look, I find that building trust is a lot easier face-to-face. I'd love to sit down with you. Number one, so I could get a real sense of your home and what the real value is, but also to kind of discuss some numbers with you, because with the interest rates being as low as they are and your equity being as high as it is, I want to be able to give you a full picture, because a lot of people just think, well, the market's going to drop one day or whatever the case may be. And they really have to do the math problem, because a lot of people think that they're saving by doing this, but really you could be wasting a huge opportunity to have the most buying power you've ever had with the interest rates being where they are. So, I think it'd be worth just sitting down just so you can have all the things on the table and you can make the best educated decision that you can, and most people are pretty sensible, and they'll want to take you up on that offer. But good stuff, Devin. I appreciate you doing those numbers. So I love this question. Where do you plan to move after you sell, right? So this could take you in a lot of different places. If they say someplace that is not as expensive, right, then you could say, well, if you're waiting for this market drop, I could tell you right now that the prices over in Point Siena are still super competitive and strong, right? And with the growth that's happening in our area, I can tell you that, in the next few years, the area will actually be getting more popular. So there's a lot of upward potential in a place like Point Siena, DeLand, Deltona, the outskirts of town, right? Because the growth happens at the edges. So there's still massive opportunity on the edges of town. Geneva, which Rachel mentioned, there's still massive opportunity in places like that. That said, if they tell you a place like Lake Nona, right? So where do you plan to move after you sell? A seller says Lake Nona, and you say, that's an incredible area. Out of curiosity, what's keeping you from moving there now? Seller, it's too expensive for me right now. Well, I can certainly understand that. Align. I can certainly understand that. It is a very beautiful place. Question, when do you think you would be in a position to buy in Lake Nona? Right? So now they got to think. Okay, well, when would I be in position? I got to make more money. I got to do these things. Probably not a few years. That sounds like a reasonable time frame. I aligned again. That sounds like a reasonable time frame. Out of curiosity, what do you think the prices will be in Lake Nona a few years from now? Right? So now it's obvious answer. Like, is Lake Nona getting less popular? Probably not. Right? So probably higher. Okay. Well, it is certainly not getting less popular. I can tell you that. Out of curiosity, if I could show you how you can use the equity in your house and combine it with a really low interest rate so that you could afford it now, would you consider selling? Right? So we're giving them the answers to their problems, right? But we have to ask these great questions, right? And we got to get real comfortable with it. I feel like sometimes everybody makes selling a home or listings like this foreign thing. And I think that's primarily because we work with a lot of buyers, and even our entire office is definitely a buyer-centered office. But I can tell you right now, once you get a few listings, you'll be super happy about it, you know, especially, I mean, look, Alexa's got a tough one, but even then she closed that thing, right? Remember, when you have a listing agreement, it's not like having a buyer, right? Like today, Devin went to an appointment and buyer didn't show up, right? So we still got to chase this guy down to buy this home. Once you sign a listing agreement and you do the things we teach you, you're going to get paid. Like it's on the agreement. It's not an option. It's not whether they find a house. It's the house is there. And then on top of that, you get the opportunity to double end the deal. Right. So if you know somebody, you now have the opportunity to actually make 6% versus 3%. Right. There's that. And once again, when you have a listing, you're going to get on average 6 to 8 buyers from it, from doing your open houses and all the different things that you're going to do to help market that property. So, you know, I don't want you to be afraid of this. Like right now, get it while the getting's good. You know, Annie, if you're getting those leads in the pond, shit, let's go after them. You guys need to go after those sellers, those home valuation leads. You got the script, you know what to talk to them about. So don't miss that opportunity, because I'm telling you right now, it's never been a better time, and you control the product. Now you don't worry about fighting against another buyer. They're fighting for your shit. You're just, I mean, even with a shitty house, me and Alexis were fighting. We were discussing multiple offers, weren't we, at the beginning? Even with a shitty house, with a mold and all sorts of shit happening, we were like, okay, well, which offer should we take? You know, so that's a good position to be in. So what, you know, should you sell now? Hey, look, I can't tell the future, but I'm gonna tell you this. You got plenty of ammunition online with articles and things to let them know where the housing market is at. And once again, it's just a decision. Is it time to step away from the poker table, right? If I'm telling you that closed sales have increased year over year by 82%, and the median price is up year over year 15%, hey, it could go up higher. But if you were even thinking about selling within the next couple of years, combined with the historically low interest rates, I don't know, man. I'd get off the table. I'd take my chips off the table, right? If I had that equity, I'd take those chips off the table. Okay. Now, and here's the only two answers that they can give you or me that I would say, okay, then don't sell, right? I'm in my forever home and I'm never ever moving. That is the only acceptable answer I will take to not be able to walk them into the right answer of selling. Okay. And if they do say that, I still won't let them off the hook. In that case, my next question is, out of curiosity, have you ever thought about using your equity, especially when the market is strong, to buy an investment or a second home? So I'm going to push them into something, right? Because here's the other part is, if the market is hot now and they're never going to sell, right now they have a really high, probably one of the highest equities they've had in their home. So you can talk to them about either doing a cash out refinance or getting a home equity line of credit to get that chunk of money. I think somebody asked me, I think it was you, Alexis, the other day. You asked me about my car, and you're like, oh, you know, when did you buy your car, or do you own your car? And I'm like, yeah, I own my car. And how did I tell you I bought it?
Damn, this is bad. Hold on, let me think about it.
Think about it. Look, I used the equity in my home to buy it.
You're right. Yep.
I used the home equity line of credit. It's just a credit card on your house. When I bought that house in South Downtown years ago, I immediately, once I knew values had gone up, I went to a bank, to one of these BB&T, Fifth Third Bank, traditional bank, and I was like, what kind of home equity line products you got? And they're like, oh, we got a low interest rate, interest only payment product, and you can take $42,000 line of credit out on your house, which is just a credit card. I can use it if I want to. I cannot use it. I don't have to pay unless I use it. So I was like, absolutely, because I want to have access to my equity. because who knows? I could do an investment with that. I can buy my car with it if I wanted to, right? And with these interest only payments, you're talking about, I mean, I think my payment on 42,000 was $200 a month. You know, I can handle that. I can handle that payment to invest in another property. So that would be my question. Or their second stupid answer might be, I can predict the future. And in that case, I would tell them, well, tell me where the prices and rates are going to be next 2 years so I can make some money. Right. Right. So if they can predict the future, cool. You know, but most people can't. And I can't either. And I'm not even trying to tell them that I can. You know, I'm just going to tell them what's happening right now. And is it time to take your chips off of the table and make a move? Okay. So, because you don't want to end up like this dude. Okay. Because this is what's going to happen. Okay. To some people that thought they were going to be slick. Some people, I don't know. Look, I know Orlando's super hot. I know that. And there could be, but as far as prices, look, it's going to simmer down, and this frenzy to buy homes is going to chill. That I know is going to happen. Even if prices don't drop drastically, this is going to chill the fuck out. I'm already feeling it a little bit. It's already starting. And once these interest rates go up from 3 to 4, 4 to 5, absolutely is going to chill the hell out, because people won't be able to afford the properties anymore. So if you're a seller right now, taking a big risk, you might end up like this guy, or you're going to be super genius, but how much more, right? So you had this great chip stack. You're going to take the risk to get a little bit more, or you cash out while the getting's good. You got your equity, you got your money, and you're ready to make a move with the lowest interest rates that there are. So I wanted to kind of, share that with you guys, because it's important that you guys see what's happening with that, because you guys should be locking these listings up like it's nothing. I mean, kudos to Brandon. He's got 2 of them right now, but like, you should be going into Pond and be excited about talking to somebody who came in on a home valuation lead, or, one of the Facebook, sell leads, or whatever the case may be. Look them up and go after them, like all day long. And now with all the buyers you're working with, you're going to be able to double end a lot of those deals. You're going to be able to be like, oh, I got somebody for that.
Hey, Bobby, about the script that you just showed,
Yeah.
Can we have it?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'll do is I will download the PDF of what I just did. I'll put it in the Facebook group, and then I will also be putting the YouTube link of this meeting in there as well. So you'll have it all.
Hey, Bobby,
I
I have a question for you. It's just a little bit off topic. It's still about buyers and sellers, but what I had buyers asking me about solar panels, right? And I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews on whether people should put solar panels on their house, or whether what's your take on solar panels?
Great question. So let me ask you this, guys. Obviously, I'm not a solar panel expert, right? It's not what I do. So what
real estate focused.
Right. But here's what I would do is I'd find a solar panel expert, right? I'd say to them, hey, look, I work with obviously buyers and sellers all the time that might be looking into this option. What can you tell me? And actually make a few connections in that space and find somebody who you feel is trustworthy, has a great product. And when somebody asks you that question, to be like, it's a great question. Matter of fact, one of the people on my team is an expert in solar panels. I'm going to connect you with them so they can give you all the options on what you can do. Because I'm sure almost all solar panels at some point will have some kind of payoff. But one, you want to have a reputable company, right? And it all depends on when it's going to start paying off for you. So you're going to pay some kind of money up front. You might finance the solar panels, and it'll start making sense in 5 years. So it will all depend on that. I don't know. And in general, I could tell you in general, I think that, we are going to be switching to solar power. So that's the future. Definitely. If I had a solar powered home right off the rip, I'd love to have it. But as far as what I think about, whether somebody should spend the money on them or not, I think it's really going to depend on somebody who's in that game. But hey, guess what? You start, put it this way. Call call 5 or 10 solar experts, not just to find the best one, but also because you're going to get a deal from it. Because it gives you the opportunity to tell somebody who talks to home sellers all the time, and you guys can be a referral source for each other. Remember when Wendell was trying to do this shit where he was knocking on doors for solar? Well, guess what? If you were able to align yourself with a solar expert who knocks on doors every day trying to sell solar, he's going to find sellers, right? So if I say, hey, look, I'm working with sellers and I'd love to work with more sellers and I'd love to refer you some solar business when I get it, now you have another referral source for business, plus you have an expert. That's what I would do, because I'd have to do the math problem on when that pays off.
Alexis, I can point you in the right direction. Deontay has done an interview and works closely with a solar expert on his Facebook page. It was Zoom call, it was short. So if you need a solar expert to start, Deontay has a connect for you already.
Okay, thank you.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
What questions do you ask when they say they need to fix their house up first? Is there a time frame they should stick to, like amount of equity in their house, like how much they're going to fix it up, go over their house and look at it? Like, what do you do with that?
Yeah, always got to go. I mean, look, any excuse to see the house, I want to take it, right? So if they say, hey, I'm looking to do some fix up to the house, well, I'd love to give you my opinion on what we could do to help do that. Is there any way we could, I could come take a look at what you're thinking about doing so you can show me? So definitely use it as a way to get there. This is my philosophy on fixing stuff up. Number one is I have to look at it because, for instance, this gentleman was, this is what I told the gentleman that we went on a listening appointment with Lexus is my philosophy on this is I only want you to spend money on things that don't have a large cost, but have a high value on aesthetics, meaning something that's very visual that somebody's going to notice, but doesn't cost you a lot, right? Because if somebody does a major renovation on a property and the next person doesn't like it, they just lost money, right? So I'm not going to tell somebody like, oh man, this kitchen's outdated. You need to spend $15,000 to update this kitchen. Well, what if the next people don't like the countertops? What if they didn't want that cabinet color? That's not what I'm talking about. But let's say I look and I'm like, hey man, these cabinets are rough. I got a guy that can refinish those cabinets for $600. Well, that's a high return on what you're going to spend, right? Or perfect example, I walked up to this guy's house. He admitted to me he wanted to do some fix-ups. Out of curiosity, what are you thinking about doing? Well, I'm thinking about painting. Okay, are you going to paint the inside or the outside? And he was like, well, I'm open to both. I'm like, great. Okay, so if you paint the outside, because this is what people see right when they drive up, right? So I can't explain away crazy colors on the front of a house. Like I can't explain it away. They're going to see it. They're going to remember it. They're going to either not offer or offer less because they don't like it as much. So those things have a high return on aesthetics, and that's what I want. So if you go there and you say, hey, look, paint this house interior neutral colors, same thing, because people put a purple wall here, green wall there, blue wall there. Like this place totally broken up. Let's paint in a nice white color. What was that color you suggested, Alexis?
Decorator's white.
Decorator's white. So, something like that, painted neutral colors, cool. If you walk to the front door, you see some wood rot right there, just looks janky right when you walk in the door. Hey man, that's $100 fix, a couple $100. So that's my suggestion. So number one is let's say, hey, I'd love to give you my opinion on that. I want to make sure that you don't spend money on something that you won't get your money back from. So let's go ahead and meet the house. Either way, I got to go see it so I can give you a proper valuation. And then we can discuss some of the things that you can do to the home, and it could be as simple as, let's go ahead and get this, let's get the house deep clean. Let's get these things painted and let's, fix this little wood rot in the front. But I don't want anybody being like, oh, good.
Like a new roof, put on a new roof, or that would just depend on, I get a lot of that. Like, I got to get my roof done.
Well, it depends, like always, right? So sometimes roofs are covered by insurance, right? So if they tell me, hey man, I already got a claim into the insurance company because we had this major hailstorm and my roof qualifies to get fixed you know, by the insurance company, then at that point I'd be like, well, what's the time frame on that? You know, what can we do to help speed up the process? Because right now you're in a time in the market where I don't want you to miss a window. So if it's going to take 6 months to get this roof done, it might not actually be worth you waiting on that process to get it done, right? Because right now the market's so hot that even with a roof that's kind of older, you know, whatever. Then the other thing is, what's wrong with the roof? You know, is it a major issue, or is it just like, hey, I know I can get the insurance company to cover it. But if it is a major issue, like the roof, but I almost know, like, even if a roof is 18, 19 years old, if the roof is working just fine, you know, in this market, I'd probably let that be somebody else's problem. You know, if they're coming out of pocket for it and the roof is fine, I probably would tell them not to do it. You know, I'd just be like, hey, you know, here's the deal. I mean, you could spend the money, but how much more are you going to get your house? Like, if I spend 20 grand on the roof and I get 20 grand more for my house, all that shit was a wash, right? If somebody's going to spend money on doing something to the house, I want them to get them a return on it, right? In that case, let's just sell it for the as is value, right? And let's sell it quickly, and let's sell it for right now. So that would be my suggestion on stuff like that. Any other questions, guys? All right, guys, keep crushing it. I will see you guys on Thursday at the Welber. I'm excited because I really like this place. So I'll see you there at 5 p.m. If you guys need anything, as you know, give me a call. Have a great day.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.